Hello, and welcome to episode 12 of Sarastro's Kingdom Death Monster painting series. In this video I'll be painting the Frog Dog expansion from Adam Poot's Kingdom Death Monster. Sitting on a mound of puppies and featuring the Kingdom Death signature blend of human and animal-like features, the Frog Dog is a truly disturbing looking creature, but a ton of fun to paint nonetheless. Let's begin. As usual, you can see that I've primed the figure in black, followed with some grey and white zenithal highlights applied from above. I'm going to begin by loosely sketching on the initial colours, and I've chosen emerald green as my main tone for the frog-like body, blended with some more earthy colours, olive green and moss green, to control the vibrancy and create some variation as necessary. For the more human-like features, I'm using some standard pink and golden skin tones, along with some dark violet to add some intensity, and some burnt umber to mix in with some of the shadows. And I'll also be using some vanilla white to lighten both the green and flesh-coloured areas as I go. I'm now just doing an initial bit of mixing on the palette. And I'm starting by blocking in the colours for the hands. For some of the larger volumes, a little wet blending can help speed things along. I'm going a little more purple for the mouth area. Here for the face, I'm using plenty of golden flesh for the broad areas of highlight, and strong levels of dark violet for the eye area. I'm now starting on the green parts of the body. And here I'm adding some vanilla white to the emerald green, along with some of the more earthy colours to find a suitable highlight tone. I ended up hopping about between the different zones of colour, once again doing a little wet blending to create some organic transitions. Green is of course a very wide-ranging colour, and I think most shades of green would be fine, so feel free to experiment with whatever works for you. Next I'm going to paint the mound of puppies using a range of brown and grey tones. With one colour, I'll hop around painting several dogs spaced apart before moving to a different colour. I'm going to shade this area down in a moment, so I don't want the paint to be overly dark or fully opaque. I'm now going to apply an oil wash to the whole area using a mix of burnt umber and black, thinned with an appropriate thinner, and you could use whatever kind of dark wash you like here. Ideally, I'd like to generate enough contrast to allow me to avoid having to spend time highlighting the area afterwards. Here's how things look once dry. I'm now going to begin painting the facial details, starting with the mouth, then work my way outwards, refining things as I go. I'm starting with the tongue, where I want a more reddish tone. We can go pretty bright with the highlights here. I'm also adding some glinting highlights to the gums and lips. Next I'm painting the teeth, firstly using burnt umber, then with a mid-tone mix of Cork Brown and vanilla yellow, followed with some highlights with the addition of some vanilla white. I'm sharpening the dark lining between the teeth as I go. Moving on to the eyes, I chose to begin with a greenish grayscale, so I'm mixing some white with a little black and some lime green. To help the eyes stand out, I'm also adding some black lining, followed with some tidying up. I'm now adding increasing amounts of the lime green along with some additional white to increase the vibrancy and to build up a little volume. I then chose to glaze some pure lime green on top to really push the saturation. And we can use pure black for the pupil. I felt that the eyes were lacking interest, so I then went back and forth a bit, adding some more purple or violet tones into the shadows and edges. I also chose to add some dark veins or capillaries. Some of these then needed trimming back a little. And finally, I added a couple of glinting highlights on top with some pure white. Now that I'm happy with the facial details, I'm going to begin refining the skin tone. This might involve deepening the shadows and saturation, pushing the highlights, and working on the blending. Here I'm using some thinned dark violet to boost the saturation and darken some of the recesses, especially around the eyes. And I'm now building up some more solid looking volumes for the face with the skin tones. You can see I'm adding some more reddish tones around the nose. I'm really pushing the saturation here to help the face draw the attention of the viewer. For large areas like this, I might add quite a solid area of highlights, then dampen the brush to feather out the edge and soften the transition. I'm now moving on to refine the other areas of skin tone, including the creepy faces on the back. I didn't bother adding pupils here as I thought the blank stares looked pretty effective without them. I'm painting the nails using the same tones I used for the teeth. Next I'm going to boost the levels for the green skin, which I'll be shading down afterwards. I chose to use a darker tone for the mohawk. and here I'm doing a quick bit of overbrushing to help bring out the texture. We can also pick out some of these veiny patterns, either now or after applying the wash. We can then shade things down using whatever kind of wash or speed paint that you like to help bring some easy definition to the textures. I'm using Coelia Greenshade and a little Athonian Camoshade, along with some medium to control the intensity. Once dry, I'm returning to articulate more of the veiny textures, which are now a little more visible. I also chose to paint some of these little raised spots with the dark violet and highlighted with pink. We can now paint the Swampy Water with whatever greens you like. I also picked out the bubbles with a much brighter tone and painted the rim of the base in black before giving the whole model a protective spray of matte varnish. Next I'm going to apply some Woodland Scenic's realistic water on top. I'm first mixing in a small amount of the green tones to give it some colour before applying it around the edge of the base with a pipette. A little cling film will preserve the resin nicely overnight, so I can apply an additional layer or two the next day. And as if the frog dog wasn't already disgusting enough, I'm going to provide some drool to the teeth using Dirty Down's Snot Effect. This is somewhat messy to apply, a bit like using UHU glue, the main difference being that this product has a much harder finish once it's dry. I'm now just doing a little retouching of some of the teeth, and I'm finishing things off with one or two highlights elsewhere on the model. And this completes the frog dog. Thank you for joining me. I do hope you've enjoyed the episode. As usual, you can find various product links in the video description, along with links to all of the places I can be found online, including Facebook, Instagram and Spotify. My sincerest thanks as always go to my amazing patrons for funding this series. If you'd like to help support my work, do please consider hitting the Patreon link and pledge what you can. Join me again soon as we continue painting miniatures from Kingdom Death Monster. Happy painting!